So a lot of you know that my main projects for 2025 are going to be building my O-gauge switching layout and an N-scale layout on a hollow core door. At least I'll be starting those. However, I do plan to do an interesting layout project before I get going on those, and it's going to be based on a double helix. So Precision Model Railroad had reached out to me some time ago wondering if I wanted to take a look at their laser cut helix kits. And I don't really build projects big enough to really support a helix, so I was like, well, it's not really going to work well for what I do. But then I saw that they had made a double helix as a display unit at a train show, where basically the train will go up the outer helix and then back down the inner helix and just keep doing that. And I was like, that is what I want. So I had them come up with a kit for me that is a double helix that I can have in a roughly 3-foot wide table kind of display. And what I plan to do is have an outer loop around the bottom part of the helix. So the train will go around the outer loop and then go into the helix, go up the outer part of the helix, back down the inner part of the helix, and then back to that outer loop around it. So we'll end up, and it's only going to be like a 2-level helix, so it won't be super tall, but it'll be kind of like a wedding cake sort of looking tiered thing. And it'll give you basically like 5 laps you'll have to go around to complete one circuit of the layout. So you can have a pretty long train running. It'll take a long time before it gets back to where it started. And so it should be pretty interesting. I could probably even have 2 trains running, one say at the bottom, one at the top, and they would stay pretty far apart and shouldn't be too hard to keep themselves distanced. So I think it should be a pretty fun idea, and something that will of course be like a mountain type theme. And I may have interchangeable inner pieces to where I could have it be just like a simple mountain, or maybe there's a town in the middle, or different things like that, or maybe seasonal, where I could have it where I take the inner part out and it's placed around a Christmas tree base, or I could have like a fall themed mountain or a spring themed mountain in the middle. I don't know. I'll play around with that idea, and I might be able to periodically make new central parts for that layout that I could then use as a seasonal type display. So that could be kind of fun. So anyway, let's take a look at the double helix kit that they sent, get everything unpacked, and I'll show you some more of my ideas of how I plan to work on this layout project. Okay, so here's the box they sent, and here's their instruction guide, and it shows what this helix will look like. Now mine's going to be a little bit smaller than this. This is basically, it's got 4 tiers here from the bottom to the top, and mine's going to be like 2.5 height, and then I'll have that outer loop around the exterior. So basically you see all the parts that you get, so there's quite a bit here. But they do give you some really, really good detailed instructions on how to build this kit. So anyway, what I want to do today is get everything unpacked, and we'll take a look at how everything goes together. And then in the next video, I'll show you how I build the actual layout structure, the layout base, the helix, get the track on there, get everything running. And then the follow-up video will do the actual scenery work on completing the layout. So anyway, let's get everything unpacked and see what this kit looks like. So you can see everything is wrapped pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and put the box to the side, and then I can take each kind of part out and we can get it unwrapped. So everything is labeled here: main tile, outer track. All right, so every single piece is labeled like that with a laser cutter. That's really nice. All right, so and it has the track radius you need too, to complete this particular setup, along with what the grade is. So that's super nice. Yeah, I was actually worried about how I was going to take this apart, because I saw the packages were labeled, and I was like, well, can I unpack everything and then still easily build it? Not mix up pieces and all that. But every single piece is labeled, so that's awesome. Start, end, and transition pieces. So 12.4 inch radius. They did custom build this one for Kato Unitrack to use a 12.4 inch radius inner and a 15 inch radius outer. So it'll be broad enough to run some larger trains. I can have a passenger train, shouldn't have any trouble at all in terms of those curve radiuses. Track spacers. Those are all nicely wrapped up. Got some gradiated spacers there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just get everything unpackaged, and then we'll look at these pieces individually. So the cool thing is here, you don't need an actual layout base to build this double helix kit if you want to build this yourself as a fun display, because they give you all these layout base sections, and they give you 8 of them, but you only need 4 to complete the actual base. But the idea here is that you will laminate them together, something like that. So you have basically 2 layers laminated together to give yourself a really strong and sturdy base. So that's pretty nice. And then obviously you can either use this or not use it if you're actually building this on an actual, layout or other base. And they also give you these alignment jigs, which is kind of nice. So when you're doing your inner pieces and you want to make sure that everything is kept properly, you can use this jig here to line up your pieces and glue them together and make sure that you have everything the way it's supposed to be, and you don't end up getting slightly out of kilter with each piece or whatever when you're trying to glue them together. So that's going to be really handy and should make it very easy to glue everything properly. Of course, the same thing for the outer part of the Helix. They give you this jig here to get your outer pieces put on there, so you can basically keep everything tight against your jig. You have the notches that line up with the notches in the pieces, and this way you can get everything glued together and it should be exactly the way it's supposed to be. Obviously, if you're doing multiple levels of the Helix and you're going around, say 5 or 6 times or something, if you're a little bit off on each one, you're going to end up with a pretty big error by the time you get to the top. So that will make things go pretty easily. Of course, we have all of our different transition pieces, at the bottom and the top, and all of our spacers. So this kit is just really amazingly designed. You're not having to punch these out of anything. A lot of times you get a laser cut kit and you have to, literally punch these out of the board they were cut from, and then once you do that, you don't know what piece is what, but every single piece is labeled, which is super, super helpful. Like even these little guys, it's kind of hard to tell here, but every single little spacer piece, even the tiny ones, have a label on them, which is not anything I've ever seen before. That's like really impressive. So that will make everything super easy to put together because you're not having to figure out what piece is what. Every single piece has a label. The included jigs will make this go really easily, I think. So obviously there's going to be a whole lot of gluing to do here. Regular wood glue is going to work great for this, but this is going to take a little while to put together. There's a lot of pieces, obviously, and so it's going to be a lot of gluing stuff together, letting stuff dry, go on to the next piece, so it's going to take a minute to put this together, but it should go very, very easily. It's just going to be one of those things where you have to have patience to, with any kind of laser cut wood kit. The main thing is just letting stuff dry when it's in a jig or whatever before you move on to the next piece to make sure you don't mess it up before the glue dries. Yeah, if you have a little bit of patience in a few days, this should be pretty easy to put together. And so I am waiting on all the track that I need. Again, this is going to use Kato Unitrack with 12.4-inch radius curves on the inside and 15-inch on the outside. Again, I'm going to have an outer loop around that, and so I'm going to kind of have like a mix probably where it's like a couple 18s, a 15, a couple 18s, a 15, something like that, to get the outer loop correct. So I'll have to actually kind of start building it and then laying the track out to see how that's going to work to make sure that all the spacing and the clearances are going to be good and I won't have any issues with that. So the next video will show the construction of the Helix with the track. Anyway, yeah, so look forward for that here. Hopefully in a few weeks I'll have the video showing the completed structure in terms of the Helix with the track and everything running on it. And that should be pretty fun to watch. So I'm pretty excited to build this project. Again, I want to get this done pretty much by the end of the year if I can. It's going to be hard to do with the holiday season and everything else going on, but it'll be a fun project. I'm excited to put this together. It's just one of those things that's it's kind of an enjoyable thing to do when you have a really well-designed kit like this. So anyway, if you are looking for a Helix for your own layout, check out Precision Model Railroad. They of course offer things besides Helixes, so check out their website for other laser cut products that you can use for your layout. But if you are looking for a Helix, definitely check this out. And if you are looking to build just this cool double Helix display, I mean, you can imagine this like around a Christmas tree or something like that. It could be a lot of fun. And so that's the idea here that I'm doing. And so we'll see if I can get it done before Christmas or not, at least get the structure built and the trains running. Maybe not the scenery done, but we'll see how far I can get. It should be a really fun project. So anyway, watch for more videos on this project coming up here in the coming weeks. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching. Bye.